Hi guys, and a welcome from me, Championship Manager 0102. The game that is over 20 years old and still thousands and millions of people play it. Okay, an update today on my three-man network game with Pep and Ian that you see before you. Just a quick note, I've loaded this as a solo game, hence why you can see change player there. I've loaded it on a different device. But the last time I think I was at the end of season 113. We are now well into 116. This is the season we're at. It's hard to know where to start. I'll tell you what we'll do, right? We're going to start with Pep. And the reason I'm going to start with Pep is because he is having an absolute shocker. You can see there by where he is in the table. He's 5th in the table. He's had quite a horrid run, Pep has. You know, I think our last session a few days ago, he was losing games left, right and centre. He ended up drawing with me, which pissed me off, to be honest with you. He seems to be quite stubborn in respect of he will not budge from this middleman formation, albeit it was me that first created that. I sort of, you got to know when to step away almost. One of his latest players, I'm sure you've all seen that there, Alpercock. Quite a name, but actually quite a beast of a player. And I think I thought it was less than that, but 16. So he's a great player. I think that's probably one of Pep's best highlights of the season so far. But you can see he is 5th in the table, and I won't go onto the table yet because I don't want to spoil it. But Pep, to be fair, you know, there is one thing Pep has on me and Ian by far, and I said this in my previous video. Pep is without doubt the most successful international manager. He won the Euros, the Euro 2028. He won it with Germany, and he stepped down right after. And to be fair to him, that's exactly what I would have done. He stepped down after winning the Euros, so he was world champions, he was European champions, and he was Confederations champions. So he stepped down. He's no longer in international management, neither am I. But Ian, then, who got sacked as manager of Spain, you may remember he was in charge of Spain on the last video, he then took the Germany reins. So it's a bit of a merry-go-round. But as I've said before, the international management scene for me isn't a massive thing. We've all completed it, but like I say, Pep certainly is one step above the rest of us. So let's just go straight into the table because I can't really go into anything else without you seeing it. So there we are, season 116. I've got 3 games in hand, and if I win them all, it will put me on top. Now, my next game are the return games against. It is one of the return games against my rivals. It's back against Pep because I believe the 3-3 game we had recently was a rescheduled game. But you can see I've got Pep coming up. But Ian, since I won that title back in season 113, Ian has since won it the following 2 seasons. But you see what I mean here about Pep, right? You know, he's having a horrid time at the minute. He really is having a horrendous run of results. Spurs, now Spurs, let me remind you, Spurs are one of my previous teams. Not my previous team, I should point out, because Swansea was my previous team before Chelsea. And that was over 10 seasons ago, and then about, give or take, and then in about 5 or 6 seasons before that is when I had Spurs. Now Spurs, bizarrely, spent an absolute fortune over the summer. So Spurs are always, as an AI, it's good to see in a way, but you can see Spurs are always finishing in that top 4. You can see they did finish in 8th back in 22-23. They finished out top 4 a few seasons ago, but they're always up there. I mean, you can see they finished 2nd about 6 years ago. That's when Chelsea finished 5th, disgustingly. So yeah, so they've spent a few quid, but so for me, right, let me start again. So yeah, Ian won the title for the last 2 seasons. However, last season I did win something that had eluded me as manager of Chelsea. I won the Champions League. I also won the league. Now, the League Cup. Now, the reason I'm telling you that is because I actually retained the League Cup. However, excuse me. Ignore me, it's just a bit of COVID. I won the League Cup for 2 years on the bounce. However, in the 3rd round this season, I landed Pep, who beat me in horrendous fashion when I surrendered a 4-0 lead. Can you fucking believe it? I ain't gonna lie to you, I was fucking raging. So Pep beat me 5-4 after me winning it. However, fuck you, Pep, in that bullshit result. However, let me show you the FA Cup. We are all safely through to the 4th round. A record that was beaten last season and the season before. Look at that, 6 in a row for Chelsea. Very, very happy with that. The record was only ever 3 in a row, so I took the record when I won it as 4, extended it to 5 and 6. Pepe has got 6 in a row on the League Cup, so it would be nice to try and surpass 6 in a row to get to 7, but we will see. Now, of course, me winning the Champions League last season, with us being on a Tapani 2.19, because obviously we were using the up-to-date patch that was available at the time, October 2013 update. The World Club Cup comes every 2 years, and it just so happens it comes on every odd year. It just so happens it came this year, and to my delight, I won it. And not surprisingly, it was an English team in the final, as you can see, Derby County. Derby had won the UEFA Cup the previous year, when I won the. Yeah, I got that right, I know. Yeah, because I played. That's right, I played Derby in the Super Cup. And we beat them 3-2, and as you can see there, my first entry into the Intercontinental Cup, which I won, and I won the Shield. But to be honest with you, those shitty little tournaments, even the World Club Cup, I don't give a shit. It's all about the league. So in terms of the league, there are big games. This is nowhere near over yet. My latest formation that I'm playing now, in fact, I'll come to that in a moment. Let's go to Ian first. So Ian has still retained his 4-1-2-2-1 formation, and Ian's goal machine by far is Alex Gill, who just scores goals for fun. Now, funnily enough, right, you just looking at his history there, you see what I mean by scoring for fun. Last season wasn't as good. Now, this start of the season, he was fueling moves for Ian, and he wanted to move out. We've all seen, haven't we? He was a fucking nightmare. So Ian was getting a little bit pissed off, but Ian's not like me. I'm one of these that just thinks, right, fuck off and get rid of him. But Ian's done the right thing in keeping him, because Gill's scoring goals for fun. And then, of course, don't forget, he's still got the regen of Ibrahimovic waiting in the wings, and he's on 10 starts, 10 goals. Ian did purchase one of my old boys. That is Yaya Toure regen, and in fairness, he's had a good start to the season for him. Let's have a look what else Ian purchased, particularly this season. He beat me to that guy, De Rocha. Although looking at that, 664, looks like I'm quite happy I didn't get him. So Ian's had a bit of a rough run. I mean, if I show you something, right, when I drew a Pep 3-3, I equalised in the 90th minute to salvage a point, which I was sort of relieved, and then I saw that on the same week. So very, very close indeed. So my formation, this is my latest formation that I used the whole of last season, and I have tweaked it a little bit. Now, I've used an inspired formation here that I downloaded, but I just completely alter it, and you'll understand why, because there's a tactic out there called Fury of the Beast. And one thing we don't have in our game is Wibwob. So the first thing I do is I fuck off all the Wibwob, because I hate it. But that's another argument. So I call it my Tyson Fury, because I've revamped it completely. No MCs. This is why I started flogging all my AMCs, and I only retain FCs. I go through these phases where I have a new philosophy on how I'm playing the game, and this is my philosophy. So I'm only keeping DMCs and ideally forwards. Now, whilst I'm saying about forwards, Gert van Beek, he is actually, I was tempted to get rid of him because he was only an attacking midfielder, forward left. However, I have trained him to be a centre, and he is forward, and he's not done too bad. This guy here, Marcus Nunez, who I repurchased, also is only attacking midfielder, forward and a wing. I am training him, hopefully, but he is doing well for me. I did repurchase him. They're the only two players I've got as attacking midfielders in my senior setup, because my main forward line, I have, my striker, Benitez, quite a monster, and I recently brought this guy who I think I'm not 100%. Might be Didier Drogba. I think there's a few players actually that might resemble Didier Drogba, so maybe that's not Drogba. Makado really has started to excel for me this season. I don't know if you can remember who he's a regen of. That is Aguero. So technically, Aguero would probably play as a number 9, but he's not. But then I've got this guy, which is, as you can gather, is Messi. And I've got that guy, which is Neymar. Then, of course, I've got that guy. That is not Suarez. That is not Suarez. I think it's Cavani. In terms of forward lines, I'm really pleased. DMC is going back to what I was saying. It's really important for me. I mean, Gullier has been outstanding for me. So don't be sidetracked by his stats not being the greatest in the world. That I think could be Steven Gerrard. I only recently purchased him. That I now know is John Terry. I got him off Pep, surprisingly, but I got him on an exchange. With my defence, this guy Agbo, absolute monster in DMC, but shocking at DC. With my defence, I'll show you a player that I picked up. That I'm quite certain is Ramos, and you can see just how well he's performing. However, I've had to up his value ridiculous because he's causing a lot of problems for me. So I believe that is Buffon, I hope. I don't know who my Mexican goalkeeper is, but he's been virtually never present last season. Then I've got this defender here, Baki, 787 in 15. You know, but he's causing problems. But I'm not flogging these guys. I refuse to. One of my best players this season, by far, is a guy that I decided to retain the services of, Duprado. And you can see why. I mean, it's done brilliant. And he's 31. Ordinarily, I would not keep a 31-year-old. But you can see the other fullback, Erkan, has done brilliant. However, I did beat Ian to a player, another left-back. And it's Nikonov. So, really pleased. I would like to get another right-back. Dominguez. So there's this right-back here, another Russian. Am I allowed to say Russian? Dominguez has done very well. I bought this player from Pep. I think Pep released him. I don't think he's gonna make it. I only bought him because I was really focusing on my DMCs. This guy here, I think he's one of Ian's Pep's old players. I've only played him in DMC, and I will only play him in DMC because look at him. How I've got it is, if they've not got a good position in, I won't play them in DC. And that was my own fuck up when I played Agbo. I think I only played him there as an emergency. So they've got to have, in my opinion, a very good position to really succeed in DC. Dominguez is playing as fullback. So fullback is different. You need to go crossing and dribbling and shit like that. So, and of course I'm still slowly and surely building on my reserves. Something I've gone against my usual principles. I usually get rid of players in my reserves after 21-22 if they haven't made it. However, whilst he's having a shit loan spell at Reading, any ideas who you think this guy is? Gianfranco Carli? I'm quite certain, because I make a lot of notes, as I said before, that is Cellini, I think. I'm not sure who that is. There was a couple of 23-year-olds. I've actually got it in my training. Oh, no, I've changed it around a little bit then. So, yeah. So, Carli and Dominguez. I think I had Dominguez initially in that fringe area. But, this Ramos regen, you see why I had him in fringe. Because I weren't 100% sure about him. But he really has got the pace. He's got all the correct attributes, in respect of... It's not an issue that he's not got finishing. Of course it's not. He's a fucking defender, for fuck's sake. Strength is a bit worrying because you need to be quite physical. And Ramos, as we know it, has certainly got some strength from real life. And that's an 18-year-old kid that I brought. I don't quite know why. I bought him because I thought he looked good. He had the determination. But he's an attacking midfielder. And as you know, I'm not going to use an attacking midfielder. So what I might do with this guy... Yeah, just stick him in. So there you go. This is my... trying to train Nunez and Van Beek. Van Beek has already made it, so I'm hoping Nunez, he is unhappy, but he can fucking deal with it. So that is where we are with our season so far. There's a long way to go. There's going to be some real crucial games taking place. We are all safely in the Champions League second phase. And as you may have already seen, Ian and Pep will possibly, shall I say, oh, Pep lost the game there, lost the PSV. Pep and Ian probably will make the League Cup final. Yeah, they're expected to, and we'll have a new champion. So Ian, there you see, he had 5 in a row in the League Cup before I derailed that. I think on my last video I pointed out that he was looking to equal Pep's record, but I derailed that, and at the last hurdle as well. I think that was on penalties as well. And just to go back, Pepe has the record from, when is it? I think I pointed this out before. There it is, 6 in a row from 2047 through to 2052. But to be fair to Ian, Ian does have one big record himself. He has the Champions League record, and he's got that 5 in a row from 21 through to 25. So quite a recent feat he's got, 5 in a row. Let me remind you also that with regards 5 in a row, I have that with regards the league, 5 in a row with Tottenham. Not lit up, of course, because I'm not Tottenham manager, but I have 5 in a row. Something that, again, that I've derailed Ian's assault on. Ian, he had 4 in a row from 18, as you can see, to 21. Pep derailed that. That was Pep's last title, of course. Then he did 4 in a row again, and then I derailed that. So, you know, so much to play for. I do wonder if Pep is going to leave Southampton. Genuinely do wonder. As I've said before, big regret is that, fuck me, that's a shock. Pep is down to 4. Do regret only having England, but then that does prevent any of us leaving the country. That's because of the UEFA Cup win that's got him there. So that is where we're at. So I hope you enjoyed this, guys. If you've got any questions, pop them down in the box, and I will try to answer anything. If you want to see anything video-wise CM0102 related, do give us a shout, and I will, all being well, I will do it for you. So until next time, guys, take it easy.